Hey everybody, welcome back. David Yon here with another G.I. Joe journey. And these come from not too long ago. We went to the Retro Toy Swap in Powder Springs, Georgia, hosted by Retroville, which was actually a big outdoor show. It had more than 60 vendors, I believe. And it was freezing, but that's okay because there was a lot of good stuff. And most of the sellers, majority of the sellers, were collectors who just wanted to get a table in the parking lot and try to move some things around. And so that was fun. And got some great deals on some things here without going too deep into pricing because, you know, I don't like to, I'm not doing this to brag, you know, just sharing the experience as I try to replace what was once a massive carded, boxed, and loose, complete G.I. Joe collection that was lost to me some years ago. And the first thing, while we were going around filming, usually we film around the shows and then we go and pick and shop for ourselves. But I stopped in the middle of it for this. And this, of course, is the Rattler with Wild Weasel. And it is complete. It is complete and the landing gear is still intact, which is often a problem. And Wild Weasel is in here. And he's a dancer. He's loose, but I can fix that. I have O-rings, and I can open him up and do an O-ring repair on him so that he'll be normal again. But he's in there. Let me just hold still, Wild Weasel. And he still has the sticker on his arm, too, or the paint. This is often rubbed off, that little silver Cobra there. And the plane is otherwise intact. It does have a stress mark. It does have a stress mark right there, but that does not break through. Oop. And I had this as a kid. I bought this with my own money and put it together. And it came in a million pieces because, you know, these are like model kits almost. It needs to be cleaned up. You can see it's dusty. It's got dust on it from years of just sitting around, and it won't be too much to clean up. It's got the panels, so you can open it up and expose engine parts, and it's just a cool vehicle. And you've got, of course, the gunner's pod, and then Wild Weasel sits in there. And you saw hundreds of these get shot down by G.I. Joe in the Sunbow cartoon. I mean, I don't know why Cobra even bothered. You just saw tons of parachutes flying through the air because these things were always crashing. And it was just such a great price. What he wanted for it, I was just like, wow, you're serious? And he was like, yeah, I just want to move it. I couldn't pass it up. Next up, and this is more vintage, and this is Mike Powers, the Atomic Man. And Mike Power, the Atomic Man, has seen better days. He still has his propeller, and he's pretty dirty also. And his hands are broken, but I do actually have in my little Frankensteining kit, that's what they used to call it when you repair G.I. Joes, is Frankensteining. I do have spare original vintage Kung Fu grip hands. So it won't be too much to fix Mike Power here. And he has an interesting feature. I don't think I can really demonstrate it though. On the top of his head, because he's pretty dirty too, he needs a lot of cleaning. There is like a glazed point there. Do you see that flat spot on top of his head?
Yeah.
You shine light through there and his eye lights up. Basically, it just transfers light into his eye, kind of like fiber optics. But yeah, he needs a lot of love. His replacement arm and leg are cloudy, but he was very inexpensive. So I can't complain. And I'll work on him. And then the big bargain, and this was part of a big bundle, and we talked about it in our Powder Springs video. 4 carded figures. And there was only one person there that had carded G.I. Joes. And I got 4 out of 5 of them. The other one had been completely stapled, resealed. And these are really dusty too. These need some love. And that is the Gung-Ho. This is like the 1991 Gung-Ho. And he comes with like the little rocket launcher, and he's got a flag. And that's kind of funny actually in the artwork. I mean, he's running with a rocket launcher and a flag. He means business. You know, watch out for the guy that's shooting and waving a flag at the same time. But
let me get that price.
Power on.
Yeah, these still have the original price tags on them.
Let me boot back up. There we go. $4.49.
Yeah. Is there a sale price?
Well, it's red tag, so it might be.
Because these all look like they were bought from the same place.
Yeah, because it was $5.79 and now it's $4.49.
Yeah, these all have like a similar price tag type on them. I'll show you the back of the card. But anyway, the 5th figure, it was all staples, and I negotiated for these 4, and I was like, well, what do you want for these 4? And the price he gave me, I was just like, are you serious? Because I couldn't pass it up. It was a great deal on these. And I don't mind the price tag being on there. And then Rock Viper. And Rock Viper is from like the 89 series, 88, 89. I think it's 89. And you see the price tag again. There's another price tag on the back of this one. They put it on the flag point. Like, give me a break. Cobra Mountain Trooper. Cobra Mountain Trooper. And as I was walking away with these, I had one person come up to me like, oh man, where did you get those from? It's like, well, yeah, too late, buddy. Right here, actually. And we bundled this with a lot of other stuff because you got some things too.
Yeah.
She got some vintage vinyl records and a TV tray, Smurfs TV tray, which is actually really cool. See how they cover the flag point?
Mm-hmm.
These look like they were being sold in a drugstore or something.
It probably was, because back then in drugstores you could buy toys.
Yeah. And then here is the Frag Viper with his tubes of camouflage oil still inside. See the little camouflage oil? And are you supposed to camouflage the action figures or yourself? I mean, it ain't gonna last long, those 2 little tubes. I'm surprised they don't degrade inside these packages, actually. And this one's from 1988. Cobra Grenade Thrower. So he's a professional chucker. George Costanza could be a Frag Viper. Why George couldn't have the ball? He's like, why don't you guys ever let me have the ball? Oh, you're a chucker. As soon as you have the ball, you're going to throw it. I'll show you the back here. And again, these really just need a little love. They need to be wiped down a little bit. They're very dusty. Very dusty. Probably been sitting in somebody's attic or basement for God knows how long. And I rescued them. And I'm going to put them in clamshells and hang them on the wall with the other Joe figures as I complete or work on. I don't know if I'll ever be able to get back all of the figures that I had. Some of them have gotten so ridiculously expensive, especially straight arm figures. And Deep Six. Here is Deep Six, who eventually ended up being $3.37, which is even by itself still kind of expensive for Joe figures at that time period, I think. Look at these original prices, $5.17, now on sale for $4.49. That's kind of a bit much, I think, for that time period. Deep Sea Diver, Deep Six. but also from 1988. Not finding any earlier ones, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll take what I can get, because it ain't easy. You know the struggle. The struggle is real. No, it is harder. It has gotten so much harder as prices on this stuff has really skyrocketed. People interested in their nostalgia are coming back and looking for toys from their childhood. ARAH is very near and dear to a lot of people. So they grew up watching the show, playing with the toys. It was the resurrection of G.I. Joe, in a manner of speaking, because G.I. Joe had gone away for a while. Started up in '64, Soldiers of the World and America's Movable Fighting Man, and then reincarnated itself into the Adventure Team. And then they started getting weird with it. That's when Atomic Man and Bullet Man came out, because they were trying to compete with Kenner's $6 Million Man, of all things. And then they started doing the Super Joe, which was then Mego size. And it was just too many changes. And they went away for a while and then came up with this idea, and it was brilliant. It worked out well. It had a show to back it up. The show was entertaining. The toys were interesting and highly detailed. And they had the best play sets. G.I. Joe had some of the best play sets ever made. And it's nice to be able to go to something like this, meet other collectors, again, the toy swap meet, and buy from them directly, get really good pricing, and find some of those things that you lost from childhood, or as an adult in my case. My poor Atomic Man here, he needs a lot of love, but I'll see what I can do. Get him cleaned up, work with him, he'll be okay. These hands are hard as a brick. That's one of the problems that used to happen with the Kung Fu grip hands. They weren't designed to last, although the ones I have up here that have Kung Fu grip, most of them, I've been able to care for them very well, and their Kung Fu grip hands are still very supple. I got a couple that are hard, but the rest of them, their hands are really supple. But he's gonna take a lot of love, but that's all right. That's what it's all about, isn't it? So that's where we're at with our Star Wars journey. I got to try to work these in.
G.I. Joe journey.
Oh.
See, Darth Vader even got mad. He's like, "How dare you?"
Yeah, well, I'm standing in front of the Star Wars.
You're sitting. And now Darth
You're
Vader's
doing that
mad.
to me on purpose. You're messing me up. Sitting in front of Star Wars, and I got a little befuddled. I got some Star Wars stuff there as well, and it's still fresh on my mind. But I got to try to work them into the wall. I just redid that rack with the stuff that Justice Curry sent me, and now I got to do it again. I had to keep moving things around. The struggle is real. That's what I had said before. Mm-hmm. But it's true. Space is always an issue, even when you're lucky enough to have a lot of space, which I didn't always. I didn't always have a lot of space. I was really cramped and could barely display 10% of my collection, and everything else was in totes. But then we have this big bonus room to work with, and space is still an issue. You still end up having to move things around. Something new comes in. You got to make it work. But anyway, any thoughts? And if you've never been out there and you wanted to try to get to the Powder Springs, I advise it. I advise checking it out. It was mostly retro stuff.
Yeah, mostly vintage.
Mostly vintage, and that's always good. We like to see that more so than new stuff, because everybody's got new stuff. That's why it's new.
Yeah. I mean, it was some modern stuff for those that like modern. There was a lot of modern, but it was more vintage than modern, but it was still a lot of modern.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the modern. We just prefer to see vintage stuff. So please do give the video a thumbs up, share it if you can, subscribe if you're new, all that good stuff. Check out our other journeys if you haven't seen them before, as I try to replace a massive collection. It will not be easy, but I'll take it one step at a time. So thanks for watching, and we will see you again soon.